On the 11th of August, today's frontline report focuses on the Bakhmut direction, where Russian forces are attempting to capture the Ukrainian stronghold of Chasiv Yar in Donetsk Oblast. Russian forces launched a massive wave of attacks on Chasiv Yar's northern flank, aiming to cross a canal and establish a critical bridgehead. Their primary objective was the Novi and Zavnevi districts, intending to facilitate westward advances towards the town center. Ukrainian forces successfully thwarted a massive Russian assault across a canal near Chasiv Yar, halting Moscow's attempt to establish a crucial bridgehead in Donetsk Oblast. The Russian strategy involved accumulating forces in the Orlova forest north of Zavnevi district. Troops crossed the canal at night via bridge and makeshift crossings, hiding in the forest during the day. Ukrainian forces struggled to counter these movements due to intense Russian electronic warfare disrupting drone operations. The assault tactic involved sending BMPs, infantry fighting vehicles, loaded with troops across the canal. In one instance captured on video by Ukrainian fighters, a Russian BMP-3 crossed under heavy Ukrainian artillery fire, using its 30mm autocannon for cover. It managed to unload 8 soldiers before being struck by an FPV drone, leaving the infantry isolated and subsequently destroyed. Russian command repeated these high-casualty assaults to establish a bridgehead. The deployment of BMP-3s, Russia's most well-protected IFVs, underscored the importance of this battlefield section. These attacks forced a slight Ukrainian withdrawal, creating an artillery and FPV pocket. However, Russian assaults towards Chasiv Yar's center were disrupted by Ukrainian firing positions at a refractory plant and a northern coal mine. The elevated coal mine position provided Ukrainian forces with effective mortar and grenade launcher placements. The Russian survival rate during these operations was low, with only 3 to 4 survivors from each 8-man squad typically remaining. Ukrainian fighters reported continuous waves of attacks, with less than 60 minutes between each assault. This tactic allowed for a gradual accumulation of surviving Russian troops to expand the bridgehead, and the intensity of the Russian assault eventually decreased as they depleted their reserves of troops and equipment. This lull allowed Ukrainian forces to locate and neutralize the isolated Russian survivors. Despite the high casualty rate and limited gains, these operations demonstrate the strategic importance of Chasiv Yar and the lengths to which Russian forces are willing to go to secure a foothold in the area. On the other hand, Russian forces in eastern Ukraine are reluctant to take on US-supplied infantry fighting vehicles on the front lines, Ukraine's military said, despite what it described as the fatigue plaguing one of Kyiv's most prominent brigades. Russians know what a Bradley is, a Ukrainian armored vehicle commander, named as Christmas, said in remarks published to social media by Ukraine's battle-hardened 47th Mechanized Brigade on Sunday, and they do not want to meet this machine head-on. I probably wouldn't want to if I were them either. Ukraine's 47th Mechanized Brigade, which has been deep in the hotspots of fighting in eastern Ukraine, has been the sole known operator of the US-donated Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, as well as the US's M1 Abrams main battle tanks. The US has sent more than 300 Bradleys to Ukraine, plus 4 Bradley support vehicles. According to Pentagon documents, a commander with the 47th Mechanized Brigade told media in January 2024 that Russian soldiers were afraid to launch operations when they know that a Bradley will be against them. Across the hundreds of miles of front line snaking through eastern Ukraine, armored vehicles and tanks on both sides are wary of the other's artillery fire, and they must also keep a keen eye out for incoming drone strikes. The Steel Front Initiative, a push involving several businesses steered by Ukrainian billionaire Rinat Akhmedov, has developed metal structures to shield the Abrams, and now the Bradleys, from Russia's explosive, or kamikaze, first-person view FPV drones. A new sliding screen, to be fitted onto the Bradleys, was successful in testing, completed late last month. Alexander Myronenko, Chief Operating Officer at the steel and mining-focused Metinvest Group, previously told media. Now, drones at the present moment are the biggest danger for the tanks and for any kind of armored vehicles which the Ukrainian army uses, Myronenko had said. FPV drones can damage part of the tank, including immobilizing the vehicle, making the advanced Western tank a sitting duck for a follow-up drone hit or anti-tank missiles and artillery, he added in June. Russian artillery is always working to seek out the Bradleys, the 47th Mechanized Brigade said on Sunday, but the main problem is kamikaze drones. Meanwhile, kamikaze drones are more and more of them, and the enemy is developing this area very dynamically, the brigade said. The 47th's fighters have been mired down west of the Russian-held Donetsk city of Avdiivka for 10 months, and fatigue is what you can see on the faces of our soldiers, the brigade said. Russia has slowly, but steadily, gained territory in eastern Ukraine since the start of the year, claiming Avdiivka in February 2024 and moving west in the months since. Moscow's forces have inched toward the strategic defensive city of Pokrovsk, and Ukraine has consistently reported the fiercest clashes along this section of the front line. Russia opened up a new front in Ukraine's northeastern Kharkiv region in early May, and Ukraine said the fresh cross-border offensive was designed to overstretch Kyiv's resources in the east. On Sunday, Russia's defense ministry said its forces had captured Novoselivka Persha, a settlement west of Avdiivka and southeast of Pokrovsk. Ukraine's general staff said on Monday that Russia had launched 30 attacks close to Pokrovsk in the past day, with the main efforts around the village of Zelane immediately west of Novoselivka Persha and Novoalexandrivka, northeast of Zelane.